it's the English Simmer here, and this video is sponsored by EA. Now, I will say I did pay for the kits myself. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I was going to be talking about my creator code, which is going to be the sponsored portion of this video. It's right at the end. We are going to be checking out the two new kits, which are the Riviera Retreat and the Bistro one. I can't remember its fancy name, so it's just the cafe, innit? It might be fancy, but it is still a cafe at the end of the day. And then we're also going to be checking out like all the other news that I haven't made a video on over the last few days. I do apologize for that, but I just felt it was easier to put it all in one video. So there's going to be timestamps down below. Go check out the thing that interests you the most. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Let's get into it. I mean, I was going to start this video off with the free stuff, but unfortunately the little pop-up has gone away. So we have the Riviera kit. It's time to relax in a wicker lounge chair, watching as sunlight shines through the vine-covered pergola and sparkles in your private waterfall. Create the perfect secret spot for your sim to spend some quality time alone or with someone special and natural charm. Set your comfortable linen furniture up among rustic decor and earthy features like stone pavers. This space is timeless, blending the fresh and clean with the natural to create a space where troubles melt away. Craft a space that's all about good nectar and great company. Now you might be thinking, hey, what happens if we don't have, you know, horse ranch that nectar like officially came with? Don't worry, there's like base game nectar in the game, the like Riven Blossom Hills or whatever the heck it is called. You can order like nectar from bars without having horse ranch. Serve the finest nectar by night and the richest coffee by day. Fill your bistro with candlelight and classic decor to create the perfect spot for sims to connect with friends or dates. Now obviously I feel like you're gonna get the most possible use out of this if you do have dine out and also get together. However, obviously you can also have like lounges and bars. Obviously this is a bar back here in just base game, so those two things aren't necessarily needed. I feel like this is going to be a big one for builders. I feel like a lot of the items that we see in this specific, the Cozy Bistro one, are kind of things that we don't have, specifically like the shop front. But of course we also have the happy at home login event. I'm probably gonna give like all of my thoughts on this a little bit later into the video because obviously I want to mainly focus on the kits, but this just arrived in my game today. So every few days that you log in, you actually unlock these rewards. So right now in week 1, there are 3 available. Right now, it is the dartboard. Then there's this layered necklace. There's also a mini fridge, a single tile bar, which I don't know if we have a single tile bar in the game. I know that I use single tile desks an awful lot. So that's actually nice to see. We're gonna claim this one. Reward claimed. Obviously, we did have one of these in Get Together. I have seen a couple of people saying, oh my god, I wish this went in like base game now. I mean, Get Together, I know not everyone bought it 9 years ago. Some people could have bought it yesterday, but it's an expansion pack at the end of the day. I don't feel like people spent an expansion pack amount of money specifically for a dartboard. It kind of isn't the same to me personally as like the hot tub thing that came with the 20th anniversary, because obviously that was very much what Perfect Patio was about. Get Together is not about a dartboard, but alas, that is a different discussion that will continue to go on in the Sims community. I claim that. Boom. Let's actually check out the kits. Not gonna lie, as I was placing all of the Riviera stuff, I'm actually quietly impressed. I didn't think I would be super into this one. As you all know, I'm not a massive fan of the other like build patio kind of kit that we got, but this one actually I think I'm gonna get an awful lot of use out of because it's more like pool than patio, and I honestly feel like it fits in really well with Oasis Springs. I think it could fit in well in Tartosa. Also goes kind of well also with the Moroccan kit that we got, which which kind of does feel slightly out of place currently within the game, just because there doesn't feel like there's a world that's dedicated to that kind of like build style and architecture. But I really feel like you can tie this into a fair amount of packs that we already have. And honestly, there are some objects that I feel like I could live without. Like, I really didn't need this gazebo type thing, but it is quite nice as like decoration. Pretty much what we are used to seeing when it comes to a fire pit. Then of course we do have this pergola or gazebo. It's a pretty fancy one. I don't know if I can get away with calling it a gazebo, but there's kind of like a gold color, a more silver color, and then there is actually, these all have vines over them, and then there's the 4 same colors but with some little curtains on. Unfortunately, the new curtains that we got in this kit, I have move objects on right now and I can kind of get them like into it. So I mean, you could use move objects to make these work, but they do work with the new archers that we got, so just be wary of that. We got 2 new stones. These are basically just for like decoration. Are these actually listed? I don't think they are. If you go down here, for some reason they're not included in the rocks. They're only in the build buy mode category, which I think is going to be really annoying. It's just like an accent rock. I don't know why they didn't decide to put this under the rock category. Maybe because it's like a fake rock, but that I feel is just going to confuse people. Then we also have these stone like serene stepping stones. These are the same. These actually come in a couple of different swatch sizes. They're all quite large, I will say. I don't know why they didn't give us like a smaller version of these. Obviously you can, if you want to, like size them down. I think builders are actually going to get a fair bit of use out of these, but again, they're not under like the paving category. They're just in build and buy mode. Also, I will say the quality doesn't look great. They do kind of just look like a sticker on the ground. I'm sure a better builder than me can like blend this in with terrain paint and stuff, but for me, it's just not looking very realistic. It's not really looking like a rock. We have this little like towel station over here. I actually just quickly want to check. This can also be used as a table. This is a new drinks tray that we got, and it just kind of has this like different color patterns on the fabric. We have this lemon tree, which is actually really cute. I'm gonna get an awful lot of use out of this. I feel like really the only like fruit tree that we have right now is the orange one. Table and chairs set to sort of match what we have already seen. Again, this could go quite well even with the bistro set, so I think these actually weirdly are like cohesive between each other, which I really wasn't expecting. And then again, just the chairs to match. You kind of have this little like fountain. It's just as kind of used as a pool accent. We obviously have a new pool float, which I'm actually very excited about. This is quite fancy. I feel like it's the fanciest pool float that we have. It's kind of, it looks like it's like a wicker. Obviously, we do also have this like fountain, which isn't in build and buy mode. This is actually, if you go to outdoor water decoration, you can go into fountain decorations. There is a pool light, which is chilling down here, but I guess I could just put it up on a wall to show you. It kind of looks like a little like drinking fountain bowl. This is also the aqueduct fountain is also included in the fountain decorations. And then you have the grotto cascade. So this is the small version. And then also there is the tall version. This comes in all the same colors as the other rocks. This is why I feel it's going to fit in quite nicely with like Oasis Springs, because it has that orangey rock type that a lot of Oasis Springs has. I want to test if you can actually use this. I think it's just going to be like fountain decoration. I will say this was a little bit finicky to place when I didn't have move objects on. It goes to like here. And then when you try and place it, it says must be on a wall and floor. So then if you just go like closer to the pool is when you can actually like put it down. So Just in case you are also struggling with that, we also got a pool ladder, which is included obviously under the same area. We also got this pool trim, which I'm fairly sure, no, it's not a brand new item. I was thinking, is this a brand new item? This is obviously the base game one. I genuinely forgot that this was a thing that we even had in the game. I rarely use these for my pools because usually I just like tile the area around the pool so it kind of like blends in, but we got two new ones, so we kind of have this like pebbled cobblestone look, which again kind of comes in the same colors you can expect of this kit. And then we have this tiled version, which is actually really nice and also matches the new walls that we got. Now, obviously, this could be very much used in a pool if we actually grab that red one. You can place it down in a pool. Obviously, you can't really see it like too much because of the water, but this is what it looks like. I think this is going to be really nice for bathrooms. I also think this is going to be really, really nice for kitchens. I can see a lot of people using these as backsplashes. And there's once again really colorful versions of it. A lot of blues, a lot of greens, pinks, reds, and oranges and yellows. We also have a flooring that kind of matches, but isn't like exactly the same. There is actually only one flooring, so you can like line it up. The oranges do match, so the colors match, but it is a slightly different tile. Not gonna lie, kind of wish we got this like plain tile also as a floor, specifically so that you could use it more in the pools. Like, I like the contrast, but also I wish that there were versions where you could match them up. And then the second wall is actually this like cobblestone wall that we have up here. Feel like we've had these same kind of walls an awful lot. Feel like this is a little bit of like cottage living. Feel like I've seen it before, but it's always nice to have more options, I guess. And it does come again in those really like vibrant colors. And I think what else I haven't spoken about, we have this little torch lamp, which is a little wall piece. We obviously have the curtains that I have spoken about, again matching all the colors that we have seen in the soft furnishings and also the tilings. A new sun lounger, which we actually have a fair few of these in the game now, but I really like this one. Again, it just matches everything else in the set. I've talked about the drinks tray already, but then this is actually on a little table, which also matches the rest of the soft furnishings. So just remember, we got two pool trims, and then most of the stuff you can find in here, but unfortunately not the rocks. The rocks cannot be found in rocks, so don't get confused with that. There is also a room as well, which is the Backyard Riviera Retreat, which I'm just gonna plop down here. Oh, I didn't talk about the archways in too much detail. There you go. You can kind of see them here. They're in build and buy mode. They're in arches. Unfortunately, only one size. For the short wall height, that's the only size that is available, which is kind of annoying when obviously you have like a base game house like this that has like really tall walls, and I definitely would feel this would be a lot better if it had all the different wall heights. I feel like that would make it a lot more usable. Do also keep in mind you can't get these like super close together because their bases are quite thick, so if I put move objects back on, if they're like together, they do clip a little bit, so just be wary of that. But that's everything that came with the Riviera Retreat. Not gonna lie, I'm quite impressed by these kits. I actually think, even though I'm not a builder, I know that I'm gonna be downloading stuff off the gallery that I feel is probably gonna use a lot of these, or I'm gonna download something that maybe doesn't, but I'm actually gonna switch it to maybe look like this. Now, obviously, this is a very specific use case because it is bistro. Like, this isn't really usable, a lot of these pieces, in like people's homes. This is more for like your lounges, your bars, your restaurants, your cafes. So I don't expect this to be like a staple in a lot of people's games. I don't see you like heavily relying on this kit, but I will say I do think that the things that are included are quite nice. I don't know if I'm just saying that because it's kind of giving me a hot date. Now, there are these two chairs. This one is a little bit fuzzy. There does seem to be a lack of like detail in that high chair. like high tall one specifically. See how flat that is? Which usually when I'm playing the game, I'm not like too fussed unless it's like right in the background of a screenshot. And I'm like, dude, you can see that that is flat as a pancake. I say that about myself too. But obviously we have a bar stool, which is quite funny considering we do not have a bar table. We do have a bar. So obviously these were kind of made to like slot into the new bar, but do kind of wish that they gave us more like bar height circular tables. Then we just have the regular seated version. As I always say in like a lot of kit stuff, the cohesiveness between the colors is definitely there. This is kind of like a booth like seating area, but it's kind of just like a flat thing. There are 3, I'm fairly sure, chairs available to sit on, but we probably will test that. Then we have this very plain Jane table with just a little tablecloth. This is giving my local Italian restaurant that I've gone to like since I was a kid. Then we have this little shelf over here. It's just a wooden shelf. I mean, it's nothing too fancy. We have this shelf which has like what looks to be little coffee and tea stations, maybe. I mean, you could definitely get away with using this in your home along with this one. Like, it just kind of looks like it has a certificate. It doesn't really look like it's specifically made for restaurants or anything. I mean, obviously you have the little teapot and you have a bottle of wine, but I feel like a lot of people could get away with having that like in an office or something. I am excited to see what is actually on these photos. All right, these are quite cool. I can definitely see myself getting a lot of use out of this art, and I knew I would. Harold, they're lesbians. Look at them. Oh my god, why do I want to now create them and see what their story is? Oh my god. And then this like whiskey one as well, that is so sick. This is a super long bar. How many squares is this? 4 squares of a bar. It's just kind of like very traditional, like long wooden bar. Very, very fancy. Absolutely adore this mirror. I think this is stunning. I can definitely see myself using this a lot. It's very vintage. Like, I see this in so many vintage stores that I go to. We have this little like netted curtain. I don't like it. I never use these like half curtains. They remind me of my great grandparents. I'm just not about those little netted curtains. We have this, which is kind of like a divider. It's sort of like a booth divider. There are a lot of like blues and greens, and then obviously a lot of like dark natural woods in this game. There is also baby pink and baby blue. So if you want to like brighten up your cafes a little bit, you can. This is, what is this even referred to as? Veranda menu panel. I again want to turn off move object. So this is like a poster. It hangs up on your walls. Although you can like put it flat to the ground if you want to as well. So you kind of can have it just as like wooden paneling. We have obviously the restaurant sign that's all in very fancy. That looks like Irish. Oh my goodness, that looks sick. I have a feeling if you have get together, some people may be giving makeovers to the get together cafes with this, because it looks really good. Then we have the smaller objects. So we have this little lamp. Wish there was a Tiffany variant. We have this little like wine book with like a set of flowers. We obviously have a little bottle of nectar. I think is merely decoration. It evaporated away. Now you display it on a shelf for sentimental reasons and aesthetics. It may be empty, but it still looks classy. This is a little wall lamp. And then there are also a little like hanging lamp that we have up here, and this hanging like wine rack. Unfortunately, I will say these again kind of suffer, especially like the build buy mode objects and like this one. They don't have like different length variants. So if you are playing on anything but short wall height, I doubt you're gonna like see this an awful lot, which is unfortunate. Gonna be good for screenshots, but that's pretty much about it. Also, whilst we are in build buy mode, I couldn't place this down anywhere else except the kitchen, but we do have a new coffee machine, which I actually really like because I'm fairly sure the like espresso maker that we had with Get Together, I'm getting so confused between like Get Together and Get to Work. I can't remember. I think it was with Get Together. You have to have like multiple assets to even be able to make coffee, and it doesn't really work very well at home. This is kind of like the fancy versions that you see in like restaurants, but it actually is just like a coffee pot, so your Sims can just have this in their house. So if they are a little bit of a coffee snob, I do like that. Kind of wish this had a little bit more clutter just for coffee making, because I feel like, you know, coffee making is, once you're in it, you're in deep. You do not do coffee like casually as a hobby. I feel like people who get into coffee then just go out and buy everything. Moving on to build by mode, we have these doors, which again, like I said, there isn't like a medium or a tall variant. There's only short versions, which I do think is unfortunate. I really actually love these like sliding doors that they've pushed back. I think this is so sick. Tell him his door looks sexy, push back. We have these windows, which again, like I said, just comes in all the usual colors. There is a lot of like accents of gold. So if you're not a massive fan of like gold accenting, maybe this isn't the kit for you. And then we kind of have like the main doors that has all the same. Is it all of the same? I think so. The same branding as the other. And then we also have this little awning thing. Oh yeah, the flooring. Duh. We got obviously a new tile, which looks like this. Feel like we've had a lot of tiles like this recently. This is actually the given room. It's actually hilarious because if you see it from this side, obviously you kind of have like a front thing. This is what I don't like though. Like, what are these walls set to? They're on the medium wall, but they haven't really given us like any decor to have like up here. Like, I just don't know why they didn't make multiple versions of these. It just feels like such a missed opportunity, and I think that's gonna actually annoy builders like more than they kind of wanted it to. But this looks really fancy. Obviously they've got the new coffee maker and then a little tea maker over here, brand new bar. The actual like little shelves that we've seen, they've kind of stuck these together, so they do actually look a little bit modular, which is quite nice. Do they work like a modular piece, or is it just kind of, no, it's just moving around, but they actually go into each other very well and then don't clip. You know the way that you see like things flashing if they like go into each other? They don't have that. Ooh, these candles are so far off. Oh my goodness, we have a floating candle. I also think a lot of the stuff that we've got recently, like the little record players and things of that nature, would go in quite well to this room. So I have to say, I'm a bigger fan of these kits than I thought I would be. Do quickly want to test out the gameplay of some of the objects though. I will say, I'm also a little bit annoyed that this coffee machine that came with the Bistro kit doesn't fit like on the bar. Like, I assumed that was why they made this side so large, but it doesn't like go up on here, which I think is very, very strange. So you do actually have to just have this on a cabinet the same way it has always been. But I do have some Sims. Sorry that it is nighttime right now. It doesn't look like this is actually usable. I'm gonna go have him back float. I was thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could kind of like shower under the waterfall, or maybe even a cheeky woohoo waterfall? But that is not a thing. There's no like interactions that you can do with this little waterfall. This is what it looks like as the water is moving. I do like the sound of it, and I also don't think it looks too bad. You kind of have like the little mist at the top, but I mean, it looks like a fountain. And then you can actually, let's see, we can just restock the tray. So let's actually see what she restocks it with. I kind of want to like play with this without backyard stuff. Oh, there we go. It's completely tied to the new kit. So you don't have to have like backyard stuff or anything for this little drinks tray. It is mint citrus nectar. Also very, very fancy glasses. Can you also go and brew some coffee? So this isn't quite as fancy as as the get together one. There's not like different versions of coffee that you can make. It just works the same way as like all the other coffee makers that we basically have in the game. It's just a drip coffee maker. It just kind of has the like aesthetic of a fancy one, but at the end of the day, it is just like drip coffee. And then she can grab a drink and then empty it the same way that you could always do. You can add an infuser, self-cleaning, and I think there are like 8 servings. Oh, there's actually only 3 servings in this one. So 3 servings of coffee. Obviously, you can light the fire. If you have outdoor retreat, you can like tell group stories on it. I think that's an outdoor retreat thing, but don't quote me on that one. And then the nectar, you can just view it. So it is only decorative. So don't think that you have to have horse ranch or that this is taking over from horse ranch. I also forgot that I did not talk about this walling. This is the wallpaper that came with the bistro kit. There was also an update yesterday, which just obviously was announced like last week, that they had introduced like a new team to fix things. So this is going to happen every couple of months. This is like their focus team on the laundry list. So laundry lists are going to get bigger and more things are going to be fixed. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I've already pointed out a couple in my video last week talking about everything you might have missed about Sims 4 updates, but just know they have a dedicated team working on getting the game to not have as many glitches and bugs. Still continue to report them, still continue to Me Too issues that you're having on EA Answers HQ, whatever the heck that thing is called. There is actually some performance things here. We've made some optimizations so the game uses less memory. You may experience fewer crashes, better frame rate, and or more responsive simulation. So hopefully not as much simulation lag, and then also hopefully not so many dips in frame rates. But I obviously haven't like been playing. I've just made this video going over the kit, so I'm gonna give my thoughts on that after I've played a little bit more. We've also improved the lot load process, so it should happen a little bit faster. There is also a DirectX 11 preview. Now, I haven't looked into this. My game is just running the way that it has always run. I haven't gone through this, but it's on an opt-in basis and will be rolled out fully in a later update for Simmers running Windows. If you opt to run Sims 4 DirectX 11, you will potentially experience enhanced game performance and graphics quality. This update is designed to increase the overall gaming experience with improved rendering capabilities that will allow for more details and immersive environments in future releases. Interesting. Simmers running Windows and have DirectX 11 compatible hardware can now enter the argument DX11 into the EA app or Steam to switch to using this renderer. You'll only be able to see which DirectX version The Sims 4 is using in your game version information, blah, 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 blah. You can find all the information you need to check if your PC is DirectX compatible and learn how to enter it both here. So I will actually link this specific link here. That's on the EA app and also Steam. Cade basically goes over how to actually get this working. Just know though that if you are trying it and you do have mods and custom content in your game, you may run into visual issues. I've seen people's games like turning blue and purple. I've also seen like thumbnails for custom content be conked out and not working. So just keep that in mind. This isn't going to be for everyone, especially if your game is heavily modded. Maybe just hold off until hopefully they get this working better in like future releases. But fingers crossed this will actually work in the future. It is cool to know that they're working on it. I don't understand any of the jargon whatsoever, but I mean, it says that it's going to look a little bit better, which I can get behind. I like looking at my Sims and I like my Sims looking good. And then obviously we already talked about like the little like login events. I know there's been so much talk about this. I'm not really going to give my opinion here. I mean, I don't particularly like time-based things. I don't really like to feel that, say, if I was on holiday and I can't log in to The Sims for a week, I'm going to miss out on specific items just because I couldn't log on to play the game, you know? That's a very like selfish thing, but this was free and I don't know, I just think it's annoying for some players to not have access. There are actually rooms up on the gallery that already have some of these items. I also know that there's custom content content versions of it. Don't know if I should be talking about that in this video. I don't get told what I can and can't say. So there we go. That information is there. Do what you will. Sucks for players who can't download custom content and mods, and I know that is a lot of people. They have actually said that they could just redo events. So for those people who did miss out, then they can then just like replace them at any given opportunity and start the event over again, so that you get like second opportunities and stuff, for example. Don't have anything like massively negative, don't have anything massively positive. Like, I'm kind of just on the whole situation. I don't feel like a lot of the items I feel like I would be completely missing out on, like what we've already seen. I think the one tile bar is quite cool, just because I feel like that's novelty that we don't really have. The hair, I feel, is a recolor of like a cat's and dog's hair that we already have in the game anyway, so I definitely don't feel like I'd be missing that. I would definitely want the dartboard, just because I think having like different versions of activities to do is always nice. And then this is actually apparently a trait that like helps your skills go up, so we'll see when that actually comes out, but that I would want. I just don't think I like that they're kind of creating dividers between the community even more, you know? Like, there's already so many packs, there's already like a lot of money spent on this game for people. I know this is all free and it's kind of just like a little like, hey, thanks for playing the game, but I do feel as if people are gonna feel like they're missing out on stuff, and that's never a nice feeling. This also just feels like it's moving more towards a mobile game, which obviously scares me with like Project Rene, and we already know that that's gonna be available on mobile. So it's just like, oh, like the game is starting to feel like it's moving more and more towards that, and it just makes me like scared for the future of the franchise in general, to be honest. It kind of feels like a battle pass. It could feel like we're gonna like pay even more and more for like content in the future, which I do not like. I do not want a subscription service. I do not want a battle pass. I don't want to have to spend more money on this game when people have already spent like thousands on this game, you know? So I know it's free right now, but I don't think it points to good things for the future. That may just be me being a pessimist, or it may just be me being realistic. Also, this is the sponsored portion. This is the ad. This is where I do actually get some money back. I do just want to point out that I have a creator code that was given to me by EA. If you are purchasing anything over on the EA app, if you enter my code on checkout, which my code is just EnglishSimmer, all one word, I get 5% back from any sale made using my code. I just wanted to throw it in here at the end of the video, just in case you were looking at the new kits or you were looking at anything else. Also, I will say whenever there's a sale on, I get like 7% back, but thank you all to those of you who have used my code. I really do appreciate it. It just gives me a little something back from anything made using it, and I want to be transparent about that. Obviously, it is sponsored. This is an ad section of the video. However, do I like these two kits? Yeah. Do I see myself getting loads of use out of them? Probably not. I definitely think I'm going to get more out of the pool kit than the Bistro kit, which is actually quite funny because I thought the Bistro kit would be my favorite. I think I just like it because it reminds me of Hot Date in a little way. I mean, it's all, let's be real, tying into the romance expansion pack that we know we are going to get in like the next 2 months. So I'm looking forward to that expansion. I am definitely interested in that, specifically because of how much I love growing together and how that added to like familial relationships. And I think if they do that in like a flirtatious way, in a romantic way, I feel like it's gonna be a pack that I enjoy. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts to everything down below. I know this was a really long video. I'm sorry the team have had so much news out, and also that like free rewards thing wasn't working in my game until today. So it was just a whole lot of everything coming at you. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me hear all of your thoughts in the comments down below about the kits, about the free stuff. I want to hear it all. I appreciate you always, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.